Russian news documentary confirms that Nibiru is headed towards planet Earth. Nibiru is Sumerian for the 12th planet, from the ancient Sumerian texts. It's a description that our creators came from a yet undiscovered planet that entered our solar system and enters our solar system every 3,600 years. The Sumerian text said that they were known as the Nephilim, and that they had colonized Earth over 400,000 years ago. The Old Testament of the Bible also mentions this race and calls them the sons of God. The inhabitants of Nibiru are known to be the Anunnaki, a Nephilim race of aliens, and there is a return of Nibiru in 2002. The 12th planet of Nibiru physically entered our solar system, falling in line with Zecharia Sitchin's 12th planet dialogue. After it entered in 2002, Nibiru went on to influence the orbits of the planets of our solar system, and it changed their axes and poles along the way. It passed close to Earth, that it influenced our oceans for several years, eventually leading to devastating tsunamis, a new awakening of volcanoes around the world, and influenced the climate and Earth's axis, which slowly moves, thus altering the position of the physical and magnetic poles. Initially, the planet's orbit came close to Earth's south pole and the Sun, and was not visible from Earth, but in late 2012, Nibiru's oblique orbit, which was 35 relative to the solar equatorial plane, proved to be quite visible, and many pictures and videos were posted online questioning this new star in our skies. In mainstream media ever asks the question, what is it? The short answer is because of NASA. They decided to question the true orbit and return of Nibiru to our solar system. The US government argued that it was required that they deny the existence of Nibiru in order not to cause widespread panic throughout the world. NASA then prepared a very well-built simulation that projected the orbit of Nibiru. The simulation done by NASA computers presented visually not only the displacement of Nibiru in its orbit, but also the orbits of all the planets of our solar system. But the true orbit of Nibiru, by all definitions, Nibiru concepts and research scholars in the field, is a red or brown dwarf star that carries along with it 7 planets orbiting around each other. Therefore, it is a mini solar system. Nibiru is close to 5 times that of Jupiter, so that means it is 6,500 times larger than our Earth. And Nibiru's true orbit is around our Sun every 3,600 years. With that huge size, it has a very strong gravitational pull and influences our oceans and all magnetic fields. Therefore, in 2011, when Nibiru approached our Sun, it began forcibly pulling at the Sun's core. The core of the Sun is only 65 times that of Nibiru, and thus the solar activity in relation to explosions and solar storms increased so much that the maximo solar started in 2011 and has not stopped to this day. The emissions are the ultraviolet solar radiation levels, ranging from 0 to 16, are currently at 15, and the normal is between 9 and 10 units. This was caused by the approach of Nibiru towards the Sun. Also, we have to keep in mind that our Sun also influences Nibiru. Because of the magnetic and gravitational intensity of Nibiru, it influenced the Sun in a way that it initiated the reversal of its magnetic poles. The same reversal is also happening on Earth. Gravitational pull and magnetic fields, and in order to perform this reversal, these two forces acting together are required. Mutual attraction between the Sun and Nibiru increases Nibiru's travel speed and velocity. Therefore, it was catapulted with accelerated speed away from the Sun. The process is known as slingshot effect and was used by NASA to throw the Galileo probe towards Jupiter. The probe passed twice by the Earth's orbit and then the orbit of Venus. With significantly increased speed, was finally redirected towards Jupiter. The gravitational effect of accelerated so much that its contours to the Sun's orbit will be much longer, but faster than the misleading NASA simulation. Based on the premises, it's our estimate that Nibiru will pass back around us in 2018. On its return, the planet Nibiru will come from the North Pole of the Sun and Earth, so it will be widely seen in the Northern Hemisphere. And on its new return, it will be faster than when you came from outer space into our solar system. This distance of Neptune to the Sun is highly convenient for Nibiru because it needs a certain distance to reaccelerate again tangent to the Sun to get a restart to the longer orbit of 3,600 years. I'll leave a link below for you for this. New evidence emerges on Planet X Nibiru. Major Nibiru disclosure is looking at the latest and most current information on Planet X. Mr. Olson brings a blockbuster amount of evidence pointing to the very real possibility a secondary solar system is on a path that will come close to our planet, possibly causing cataclysms at a mass scale. Almost 24 photographs taken from multiple cameras and sources from around the world will be the best evidence to date of the infamous Nibiru wormwood nemesis, Planet X, Planet 9, aka Winged Destroyer. The following comes from The Independent. Objects have been spotted moving around unusually at the edge of our solar system, and the best explanation for these strange orbits is the mysterious Planet 9, according to one of the scientists who argue that the hidden planet exists. In January, a pair of scientists argued that they found another planet based on calculations using objects at the distant end of our solar system. By studying the orbit of 6 objects in the Kuiper Belt, a mysterious area thought to be filled with asteroids and other icy objects, they argued that they were being affected by something large and previously unknown. In 1990, the U.S. Naval Observatory confirmed the potential existence of Nibiru, and Zecharia Sitchin recorded it. The story surrounds Robert Harrington span as far as any conspiracy theorist bothers to project, but here are the facts. He was an American astronomer who worked at the United States Naval Observatory, USNO. After being pivotal in the discovery of Pluto's moon Charon, Harrington turned his attention to a potential additional planet in our solar system. With positive results coming from the IRAS probe in 1983, Robert Harrington collaborated initially with T.C. Tom Van Flandern, and then he made his interview with Zecharia Sitchin. He died 3 years later. The following excerpt from an Inquisitor article summarizes what some people believe about Planet X. According to conspiracy theorists, recently leaked secret NASA Planet X files reveal that the agency is aware that the gravitational influence of Planet X had disrupted the orbits of other planets during a previous passage into the inner solar system hundreds of years ago, and that the next disruptive passage into the inner solar system is imminent. The approach of the mysterious Planet X is currently sending waves of charged plasmatic energy particles through our solar system. The flow of energy will finally disrupt the core flows of the Earth and trigger catastrophic changes in Earth's climate. We have been feeling the disruptive effects of the inbound rogue Planet X since 1996 in the form of increased seismic and volcanic activities, freak weather patterns, and natural disasters. Destructive brown dwarf star. Planet X's orbit takes it back and forth between two suns. The other sun it orbits around is our sun's twin. Now you might think that our solar system is not binary, although some solar systems have been recently discovered to be binary. Our sun does have a twin. It lies in the direction of Orion. It is not composed of the same material as our sun, and thus will never ignite. It is a dark or dead sun, and does not revolve around our sun like most twin suns do. Why hasn't this discovery been announced, you might ask? It has, if you know where to look. It's really simple why the information is not more widely known. There's a brown dwarf star that orbits around both suns instead of just one of them. Its orbit is rather long, being about 3,660 years or so. We don't see it go by too often. It is still one of our family of planets in our solar system. It's like a half-brother that's been ostracized by its two parents but still comes visiting habitually. X is kind of like the black sheep of our solar system's family. When it finally comes by for a visit, it just screws everything up and then leaves. It happens every time, so I guess the rep is well deserved. Now, stepping back away from the humor, if you're going to try to keep a lid on the, quote, destructive brown dwarf, end quote, that's currently inbound, it's not a real good idea to notify John Q. public about the relatively recently discovered second sun that it happens to orbit around. There's no reason to promote important clues if you don't have to. Besides, only the very best or expensive scopes or deep space probes can see the other sun, so it's fairly easy to keep it under wraps from the majority. This is one of the many reasons the orbiting Hubble telescope live feed is hidden from our view. Hubble was paid for with tax dollars, so you'd think they would give us a live peek. No, that's not going to happen. This diagram appeared in the 1987 edition of the New Science and Invention Encyclopedia, published by H.S. Stutman, Westport, Connecticut, USA. The continuing conspiracy to cover up Planet X, NIBURI, falls short when matter-of-fact evidence is found in respected, credible publications like this one. The article accompanied this diagram discussing the purpose of the Pioneer 10 and 11 space probes. Remember Pioneer 10 and 11? Yes. Clearly, this shows our sun's dark twin dead star and Planet X, aka the 10th or the 12th planet, Nibiru, Wormwood, Planet X, Planet 9. One of the points made was to show the paths of the two probes and how they created a triangulating sighting to verify the sighting of Planet X. The history of deep space probes is mentioned because Pioneer 10 and Pioneer 11 were said to be one of the first. There's absolutely no mention of any controversy about what was out there or what the probes were looking at. The disinformation to hide X's approach and long-known history of devastation it causes as it passes each time did not reach this far. It's not hard to imagine a conspiracy as large as this one just cannot weed out all the evidence. It's a big world with a lot of people, publications and information sources, present and past. You know the great thing about a cover-up? The information that it misses gets a bright light of emotion and intention shined on it that would not normally have been there without the effort of trying to cover it up. There's a possibility if this information we present gets out quickly and broadly enough, there might be more people paying attention to Planet X, Nibiru, than if there was never a conspiracy to cover it all up. That thought is just a hope and a prayer at this point. This spends 99.99% of its time slowly going away from one of the suns to reaching halfway point. Then, as if falling like a rock off a cliff, the gravity of the sun it's approaching takes over, and in a flash, it travels the other half of its journey. Planet X reaches the halfway point after a little over 1,800 years of traveling away from the dark sun towards our lit one sometime in the year 2000. It only takes right about 3 years to travel the rest of the distance. In fact, the majority of the journeys from halfway to here happens the last 9 months before it arrives. Zoom! It'll be cooking with its greatest speed by the time it arrives. Once it crosses Pluto's orbit, it will only take about 45 days to pass right between Earth and the Sun. 45 days, that's nothing. X's inbound approach is being closely monitored by our best telescopic equipment on and off Earth, but now small private observatories have started spotting it, which are not controlled. The most accurate calculation for Planet X's next pass is now late May or early June of 2003, and we know, and we wish it was not so soon. Many people have been lulled into complacency because the Y2K problems and the simple planetary alignment were overhyped. Then nothing happened. So let's try to jump off the page here and slap you upside the face. It's the underhyped, covered up and intentionally confused one that is going to get you. The pre-programmed laugh track given to you by the media controllers. Many of you have been playing back and forth to each other every time the mention of a 10th planet or Planet X comes up, is going to break by the end of this book, if it hasn't already. I'll leave a link below for you for this. On Locklip, there are a few embedded videos you can watch for your information.